You ever been halfway through a strict diet, doing everything right, and suddenly your brain just goes, go on, have something? That voice still shows up for me. No matter how long I've been at this, it's always there. I'm on this high carb, low fat, rice based plan, trying to lose 100 pounds, and cravings still happen. And the weird part, I deal with them totally differently now, almost the exact opposite as before. I don't care how disciplined you are, they come for everyone. The difference now is I handle them completely differently than I used to. Back in my keto and carnivore days, cravings used to feel like a personal failure. Like if I wanted carbs, I instantly think I wrecked the plan. And now it's the other way round. I'm eating carbs all day, and the cravings are usually for salty, fatty stuff. Either way, the cravings never disappear. They just show up in different forms. What I've realised is it's not really about food. It's about feeling, boredom, stress, tiredness. Your brain's looking for a quick hit of comfort, and ultra-processed food, it's built for that. It's not accidental, it's engineered. The right mix of sugar, fat and salt keeps your brain chasing that hit long after you're full. Here's how I think about it now. And yeah, this might sound ridiculous, so just hear me out. A lion knows exactly what he needs: meat. That's why he spends 90% of his time lying around in the sun. And then when he's hungry, he hunts, he eats, and then goes back to resting. He's not sitting there thinking, oh, I wonder what the weather's like in Bali right now. No, he knows exactly what he needs, when he needs it.
Huh?
Humans, we've completely lost that instinct. We've turned eating into entertainment, stress relief, therapy, socializing, boredom. Everything except what it's actually for. Half the time, cravings are just that modern confusion showing up. The body's fine, but it's the mind that's restless. So what do I actually do when cravings hit on this rice diet? First, I don't try to fight them anymore. That just never works. Fighting cravings just makes them stronger. Instead, I delay them. I tell myself, all right, if I still want it in 10 minutes, then I can have it. Most of the time, by the time 10 minutes is up, I'm over it. Sometimes I'll just drink some water first, because let's be honest, half the time it's just thirst pretending to be hunger. I learned this the hard way. When I started drinking properly, close to, say, a gallon a day, my snacking urge dropped massively. And yeah, I'm probably drinking too much water right now, but I'd rather have that than end up elbow deep in a packet of Pringles. Either way, it helps take the edge off. If the craving's still there after that, then I'll eat, but consciously. No guilt, no panic. I just pay attention to what's happening, because trying to muscle through every craving just never works. Restriction fuels obsession, and the harder you resist, the louder it gets. Cravings always hit at predictable times. When I'm tired, when I'm stressed, when I'm sitting on my phone for too long. Late at night, that's the classic. You know, you just brush your teeth and somehow the fridge and cupboards start calling your name. You know, someone asked me in the comments the other day, why do you film all your videos out in the woods? Well, honestly, I come out into the woods to get away from society. No phone, no notifications triggering my dopamine every 2 seconds. I walk out in nature every single day, no exceptions. It clears my head, lowers stress and gives me exercise. But most importantly, it takes my mind off food. You know, I'm not thinking about calories or macros or whether I should be fasting while I'm doing a handstand. I'm just out here moving my body, taking in the fresh air, just existing in nature. And it's one part of my day that there's no pressure, there's no noise, just quiet, or quiet enough. In the past, I'd probably be sitting at home watching some mindless Netflix or cat videos. So I guess you could call this leveling up, because sometimes your brain doesn't want food, it just wants relief. And here's the thing, movement kills cravings. Exercise is the #1 probiotic for your brain. You don't need to crush yourself with workouts either. Just moving your body changes how you feel. When I sit too long, cravings start to creep in. Once I start moving, the cravings begin to fade. And going back to my keto and carnivore days, that's where I first started learning about controlling urges. On keto, my cravings eventually spiraled out of control. I was eating more sweet keto treats, more than I ever imagined. Everything was some version of chocolate, cream, or those fake sugars. Like seriously, where on earth are you going to find stevia or monk fruit out in nature? You know, that's what pushed me towards carnivore. Total simplicity, total control. And honestly, that animal-based lifestyle taught me discipline. When you eat from one small food group for months on end, you learn how to separate real hunger from impulse. Now, on this high-carb plant-based approach, 100% vegan right now, I'm using what I learned there to stay steady here. It's funny how both extremes end up teaching you the same lesson. Keep it simple and keep it consistent. So another big one for me is simplicity. The fewer food decisions I make, the easier life gets. Because when I used to have 10 different meal options, I'd crave something better every single time. And now my meals are boring. Rice, fruit juice, lentils, but it works. A predictable routine. There's no food drama. You know, I could walk into a buffet and with good intentions thinking, all right, I'll grab a salad, some meat and rice, maybe some fruit for dessert. Yeah, that plan lasts for about 30 seconds because the second I see and smell everything, it's game over. And that's why I prefer eating simple at home. Limited choices mean more control. And don't get me started on bakeries. One whiff of fresh bread and I'm toast. There's just zero chance of me walking past one without caving in. That's why I also say, if I don't snack, I don't need to track. There's no calorie apps, there's no spreadsheets, no stress. So simplicity kills the cravings because it removes the mental tug of war. And don't get me wrong, I still get cravings. Sometimes I'm sitting here thinking, man, I could destroy a can of Pringles right now. And that's fine. I just don't make a big deal out of it anymore. The difference now is I don't act on every impulse like I used to. I'm not trying to be perfect, just consistent. You don't have to win against cravings, you just have to outlast them. They always fade. The only question is whether you stay calm long enough to see it happen. Here's what I learned on this weight loss journey. You can't control cravings, but you can control your response. Cravings aren't the problem. It's the lack of structure that throws everything off. When your meals are simple, your environment's clean, and your habits are steady, cravings lose their grip. And that's when you go from being reactive to being calm. Like that lion again. That quiet confidence That comes from consistency. That's what I'm chasing right now. And for anyone struggling with sugar cravings or trying to lose weight, remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about building rhythm. Once you do that, everything else gets easier. So yeah, that's how I handle cravings on a strict diet. Delay them, hydrate first, move your body, and keep things stupidly simple. Ultra-processed food is designed to keep you hooked, so don't make it easy for it to win. Cravings aren't proof that you're weak, they're proof that you're human. And the goal is not to never crave junk food again, it's to stop letting it run your day. Every time you ride one out, instead of giving in, that's one rep. That's progress. Stay steady, eat simple, move often. That's how I deal with cravings, not by fighting them, but by outlasting them. I'll see you in the next one.